Hey guys, this is Miss Jacobson. Today we're going to start our new unit for the 6 weeks, which is personal narrative. Our lesson goal is we will be able to write past tense personal narratives that reflect our own experiences, and we will brainstorm lists of possible moments in our lives that would make good personal narratives. So we're learning what a personal narrative is, and we are brainstorming different ideas that we'll be able to write about throughout the 6 weeks. But I can already see some of you going, personal what? What's a personal narrative, Miss Jacobson? So personal means relating to or coming from a particular person, individual. A narrative is a story or an account of events, experiences, or the like, whether true or fictitious. So an individual story, a story that can only come from a particular person. Somebody's account of their own experiences. A personal narrative is a story about one specific experience or moment in time from your life. Personal narratives are different than a biography, and they're different than a memoir. A biography is your whole life, every event that happens in your life, up to the point where the biography is written. A memoir covers one particular chunk of time in your life. So, for instance, a memoir might cover just your childhood, or just elementary school, or just middle school. But it still covers more than one event. A personal narrative is much smaller. A personal narrative only covers one specific event that happened to you. It's the story of one particular moment in your life. So here's an example of a personal narrative called Look Up and Watch the Show. I'm going to read it to you, and I want you to think, what do you notice about this personal narrative? Student writing exemplar. Look up and watch the show. I walked up the stairs of the subway. We were almost there. I'd been waiting to see this for my whole life. 5 years before this, I had been asking, Mom, can I go to the fireworks? My mom always replied, No, honey, maybe next year. Dad, can I go to the fireworks? All my friends have. You're too young and it's too late. This went on for the next 5 years. Finally, I asked, and they said yes. I jumped up and down and kissed and hugged them 8 times. They said I was now old enough. I couldn't wait to tell my friends. And here we are an hour early, staring eagerly at the starlit sky. I looked at the barges straight ahead of me. They were ready to fire. I imagined streams of color floating out of them in every direction, like 10 hoses with 10 different colors of water. For the next hour, I asked my parents at least 100 times, when is it starting? My parents were giving me dirty looks. They were annoyed, but I really couldn't help myself. Then boom, crackle, crackle, boom! Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and white all seemed to be falling on me, screaming, Hi, nice to meet you. They were saying to most of the other people, I remember you from last year. I glanced straight ahead of me, and bats were flying away from all the commotion and noise. It was eerie and exciting. Amazing shapes, colors, and noises were bursting out of the 4 barges. Large booms from previous fireworks echoed from one building to another behind us. Now the time I had been waiting for to see the grand finale. Smiley faces and 100s of shooting stars shot high in the sky with large booms. Everyone was oohing and awing, but I knew I oohed and awed the loudest. I was sure I was more excited than anyone else. It was now over. Silence rang in my ears, and a heavy smoke lingered in the sky. The smoke carried away with it all my dreams of this, because now I had seen and experienced my first ever up-close showing of the fireworks. I hope my old dreams of seeing the fireworks for the first time is carried over to someone, and just like me, they can have this great first-time experience and tell their friends all about it. Now I've done it. I can tell myself I will never forget the first time I ever saw fireworks. Now I understand what people mean when they say how magical the fireworks are. So, things you can notice about this personal narrative. Some of the stuff it used great figurative language. There was a lot of imagery, a lot of description, onomatopoeia, simile, metaphor, personification. When they're describing those fireworks and the effect they had on people, it gets really detailed, really descriptive, so you can picture it in your mind's eye, and it's very emotional. Like they're talking about the fireworks greeting them and their heart racing. It has really great, vivid descriptions, and it has dialogue between the characters. The characters in that moment are talking to each other. So it's not just a summary. I saw the fireworks. They were blue, red, orange, and yellow. It was pretty. I was excited. They're telling it like they're in the moment. And they show us, this is what my parents said, this is what I did. Things that this personal narrative was about, it was about one specific memory of the first time they ever got to saw fireworks. It was one moment in time from the beginning to the end. So they had a little bit of a flashback to where they asked their parents about going to the fireworks. But the main story was all just that one moment where they first saw the fireworks. And they explained why that experience was meaningful to them, because it was the first time they had ever seen the fireworks. And they were so excited that they hoped somebody else got to experience that much emotion about it. When we write a personal narrative, we have to think of one person, place, or moment in our life that matters and then write a story about it. You focus on one episode and write with detail. So instead of summarizing a whole bunch of things that happen, you focus on one moment like you're in it. You use small actions and exact dialogue and kind of climb into the moment and write from the point of view of the narrator. You use dialogue between the characters and explain why the characters are acting the way they are. You have, when you write this personal narrative, you're telling one story, one event, beginning, middle, and end. What happened first? What happened next? How did it end? And how did I feel about it? Or what did I learn? Again, everything in it is about the same moment or event, but it has a beginning, a middle, and end, like a fiction story. But Miss, I can hear you saying, I don't have anything important or meaningful to write about. How do I know what to write about? Again, personal narratives should be about one moment in your life that was meaningful to you because it gave you strong emotions, it taught you a lesson, or it changed your mind. Think about, what are some examples of meaningful moments you've had? Some of our most meaningful moments are our first experiences with something, our last experiences with something, or the times that we realized or learned something important. So what you're going to do today is you're going to fill in your first time, last time chart in OneNote. In that chart, you're going to come up with four different events that were the first time you did something, 4 different events that were the last time you did something, 4 different events that were when you realized something. And you're going to include a little description of what makes that memory meaningful. What was important about that memory that makes it important enough to write about? So, for instance, I have the first time I failed a class. Well, that was meaningful because I felt like this crushing guilt and fear. It was a really emotional experience. The first time I had a car accident, I learned that I have to pay closer attention because even if I'm doing everything right, somebody else may not be, and I can still get into trouble. The last time I lost my glasses. I dropped my glasses down a storm drain, and why that was important, I learned that just because I'm an adult doesn't mean that I don't occasionally make bad decisions. The time I realized something, one time when I was in college, it was Father's Day. My grandfather had been nursing home for about 2 weeks, and I realized that I didn't go see him. I didn't go see him that week because I had other family to see, and I thought, I can go see him later, and then, next year we'll spend Father's Day together. And he ended up passing away that same month, and so I realized not to take those opportunities for granted. Another time I realized something. One time, my stepbrother, I have 3 stepbrothers and a younger half-brother, and one time my stepbrother, who I only kind of sort of grew up with, surprised me by getting all of my brothers together, and they all chipped in money to buy me a computer part that I needed. But it was the first time even my half-brother had ever bought me a birthday present, and it was my stepbrother who had organized the whole thing. And so I realized that actually we had kind of become family because he was willing to do something for that, willing to do that for me. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill in this chart. You're going to try to have 4 events in each column. And for each event, you're going to tell me why that first time you did something, or that last time you did something, or the time you realized something was important. You will not get credit if you don't have why it's important.